Hey there, welcome to Mountain of God. My name is Camille. Today is 19th of May 2021. Welcome to video number 29. Today I want to talk about fivefold ministry. I want to kind of talk about how this fundamental truth about how church should function might open a completely unknown door for you, an unexpected, I would say, for you to be able to get into your calling before getting into your calling per se. So I want to start with basically laying the foundation. What does fivefold ministry is? If you don't know that, I would just go through it, quite quickly. But I want you to have understanding how this thing work and how it kind of complements each other, each role in a kind of foundation of a church. So there are five roles or five ministries that are spoken or listed basically in Ephesians. You can see Paul basically telling you those five roles or five ministries in the church, and they are apostle, prophet, evangelist, preacher, and teacher in different combinations. But the idea behind this is that each role allows church to have its impact on or playing a specific role in the church or in the society. Because let's start with those who are much more known, especially in the more fundamental or the traditional denominations or churches, because that's going to probably impact more people than starting from the more charismatic ones. So everybody knows about evangelist. This is the role that basically is played by the people who are not afraid to go outside and preach the gospel. Many of these people, especially those who are playing this role for a long time, they say our message is very simple. We just talk about Jesus, about his death, about his resurrection, about the salvation that is there. And our focus is basically to reach as many people as we can. These people, they don't have to be simple-minded. Some of them are really well educated, theologians. But the message is simple. And what they do is they boldly go and just preach the gospel. The other role, which is well known, is a pastor, which is basically a shepherd. This is the person that in many of traditional churches plays the role of a teacher, plays the role of administrator, and many other roles. But mainly this role in fivefold ministries is for taking care of people. You have to have someone in the church, inside of the church, that will take care of all of those who are brought by evangelists, who have to be able to feel like home, that they are accepted no matter how dark their past was or where they found themselves in their lives when they gave their life to the Father. And there are tons of people in a church who are in a different levels of maturity, and they all need someone to help them, someone to be with them. And this is the role of a pastor. This person is going to visit you at home. This person would know what you're going through. This person is going to hear you, listen to you. This person is going to go, visit people in a hospital or even in jail. This is the role for the people person to take care of other members of the church. Then another role, which is many times kind of, I think, taken by mistake, that the pastor is this role. But in fivefold ministry, it's separated. That you've got a pastor who takes care of the people, you've got teacher who takes care of teaching. This is the person that, in contrast to the pastor or the shepherd, will rather not take the time to spend with people, but they will go deeply into theology, deeply into understanding all the secrets that are there in the kingdom of God, to basically be able to stand behind the pulpit and teach you and explain to you in very simple terms, very complex ideas, symbology, prophecies, end times prophecies. They be able to understand and explain to you this broader view or this helicopter view or on everything that happened from the beginning of time, or even before, to the whatever it's prophesied at the end. These people will help you to connect the dots and understand things that seemingly are not connected at all. But then you'll be able to understand and say, wow, now I get it. And additional two roles, which again are probably much more often played in a church, will be probably in the more charismatic churches, is the role of the prophet and the role of the apostle. Role of a prophet, as kind of name suggests, this is the person who basically plays the role of the communication vessel in between church and God and church. And this role is given for a few different reasons. But basically because there's so many things are happening in the church, the prophet is there to basically help us have a clear view where we are. He or she, this person basically will have a role to encourage us, to help us to have some word of encouragement from the Father, but also the word of direction and role of correction. It's exactly as it played role in Israel in old times. Prophet will have a role of being this person who rings the bell when we're going the wrong way. And this is the person that will have very much impact on the direction or the mission or the vision or implementation of the church. Because God will say, yeah, you do this, do that, or don't do this right now. Or stop doing this, or go forward and spend much more time in doing this, something that you completely missed. Maybe you just need to go and take care of the homeless that you never done, but that's supposed to be done. And this requires the word of knowledge, knowledge and wisdom, and that's how God will direct its church to get back on a proper path. And then there's a role of apostle, which is kind of interesting role because it plays it has two sides of it. Apostle will have, I heard a very interesting definition. Apostle is a pioneer. And this person will be able to look in the future, looking towards the vision outside and inside of a church. The inside part of this personality or this gifting or ministry is to see potential in people. Many times prophets will have the same thing. You will see tons of ability and possibilities and potential in people. And apostle many times will be the mentor of those people. Apostle in the church itself is probably like umbrella ministry that will help others to have their own place, and this will be like a leadership position in the church and its direction and implementation of the vision. And by being a pioneer, this person will basically go outside and be able to have this vision. What can we do else that we didn't do until now? Maybe we could, spawn another church. Maybe we could send someone on a mission. Maybe we'll be able to, or we should take care of the jail and people in it that we have in our city, and then drag the evangelist with him to preach the gospel in that particular place. So on and so on. This person's going to be a visionary. This person's going to be really ready to do what needs to be done, and kind of get out of the comfort zone in achieving new things and kind of conquering the new territories for the church. So this is fivefold ministry. And as you can see, each role has its own place in the church and it's functioning, and they complement each other. Because basically, evangelist brings people in, then pastor takes care of them, teacher teaches them, prophet corrects them and encourages them, and then apostle basically seeing potential in them, trains them, and helps them to go and do what they need to do things according to the anointing, whether it's inside of the church or outside. And apostle helps grow the church outside of the comfort zone. So it's really well thought combination of gifting and talents that God is putting into the church. And listen, I don't really want to go and play this church politics game right now. But if you compare this picture to the things that are happening in your church, now you'll be able to see, is everything fine and going great? Or maybe you see, oh yeah, it makes sense that we don't have vision or any mission that we do. We're just there just to survive because, our pastor just doing what he can to take care of the people and, teach us, even though he's not really a teacher, he's like more pastor. And then the group of elders is just group of people who are basically there just because they were always there, and no one else wants to do this. But one of the is car mechanic, one is a doctor, one is a teacher at school, and they don't have any of those ministries in them. So we just do nothing. We just try to survive. And I want to live this because I don't want to play church politics. It's if you're a leader in your church, maybe hearing about this will help you to kind of get a grasp of what's going on. But whether you're a leader, whether you do this or not, whether you're just simple Christian being there in a church, I want to kind of lead you towards more looking at yourself and comparing yourself and your gifting, your talents, and your wants of your heart to one of these roles. And I would add just one more thing as a side note, because I'm seeing this five-fold ministries, and adding to that like a day-to-day functioning of a church, I would add two more, just as a small addition because of like day-to-day functioning of a church. I would add those two roles that we talked in previous videos. I would add a worship leader, who to all this that picture will add bringing people and helping them rest in a presence of God. And then I would add an intercessor, which is basically a person who is going to help protect the church, help fight and do the spiritual warfare. Although many times the apostle and prophet, they might be intercessors as well. So this role might be implemented, but when you have a separate people, they can play those roles too, and then you have 7 people covering like 7 major things that are happening in the church. And now when we have this 5 plus 2 roles or mission or ministries in a church, now I want you to kind of look at yourself and ask yourself very, very simple but very important question. Which of these roles, which of those ministries are closest to what I feel in my heart that I want to do? And which of those is the closest to the gifting and talents and like characteristic of me as a person? Which of those is the closest to me, or I'm closest to it? Because probably many of you, that when I was going through all of this, you were just right away, you knew which role is yours. Which is the closest to your heart, which is the closest to what you want to do. You right away knew that evangelist, that's my thing. Or maybe you knew that, the prophecy, that's, I want to be this vessel. Maybe you already knew that you're a teacher from the beginning. Or maybe you just take care of people and this is what you be willing to play until the end of time. Maybe you are an apostle and you don't even know it, and you just heard that and say, wow, the vision, that's my thing. And potential, training people, being a mentor. I want you to look at it and say, okay, which of the roles is the closest to me? Because then I want you to do a very simple thing. I want you to give yourself permission to say, okay, if this is the role that I'm really close to and I really would like to play this role, I want you to find the person who does this in your church. I want you to go there and just be there and help them as much as you can. Because a few things are going to happen. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to see someone who's doing the thing that you want to do, and even more, they're taking the responsibility. They're in a ministry, whether you are in a level of gifting and training, and you can be part of it, but not take the responsibility if something was going to go wrong. Perfect place to be mentored. If there's when there's no such person playing this role in your church, I want you to I want you to learn. That's one thing. It's gonna be a good idea to read books about it and or trying to find someone who's gonna train you, not being a part of your church but playing this role. But this way or the other, I want you to give yourself permission to play this role. But remember obviously about being humble, because you don't want to jump into the ministry where it's not time for you to get into ministry. Maybe you want to train and be trained by your father directly. But giving yourself permission to do that, because if you look at it, many times in church we don't need a name tag. We don't need the position that elders will tell you that from today, Jack is our ministry is in ministry of prophecy for us. No, but you can really go and tell people, listen, I prayed for you and I've had this feeling that this or that. If you want to be even better, even like play it really smart, you will take someone from leadership and say, listen, I've got the prophecy and I want you to be here to hear that. And so then when I'm going to say it, this person can take it or not, but they can do something about it. And there's someone who's going to judge me if I said something correctly or what I'm saying is completely against what Bible says. You can do and evangelize. You can say, okay, if this is something that I want, how can I do this? Where's the group of people that I can go and just talk to? Maybe be the voice in your church that we need to go outside and preach the gospel. Pastor, would that be okay if I'll do this or that and go here and there? Maybe you are really interested in being a teacher. You may want to be close to the person who teaches in your church. Because you've got to understand that, we're looking at the church perspective, but look at your home group. In your home group, you can exactly play the same role. You want to be humble. You want to be under authority, that someone will, look at what you're saying and what you're doing. But you can play this role and in your humble heart, just basically say, listen, I prayed for you. This is word for you of encouragement or direction. Or you can say that, I understood this or that. Would that be okay if I would talk about it for 10 minutes in our home group? And whether you're going to the intercession, the ministry of worship, and you may want to just take an instrument and play with them, sing in a group, and just have from the inside have impact on what's going on. But this way or the other, this is what I want you to take from this video. If you understand the basics, which is kind of in my book, this is like the basic thing that should happen. We have to start with understanding what is the fundamentals that God put in His Word, that how we're supposed to work, because it all makes sense, it all fits, it all complements each other. And then you can just basically take yourself, your gifting, your characteristic, yourself as a person, and understanding what makes you tick. You can put one thing beside another or on another and see where do you fit. And then just basically allow yourself to say, listen, I think I would like to try that at least, and embrace it and just basically start doing exactly what you feel you want to do. And interestingly enough, if that's the place, you'll feel fulfillment in you. You feel like home. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And you can enter the territory of your calling, start being mentored and taught by people who will be able to help you with this because they are already there. Or you can just basically start getting an experience, just learning by experience, try and error, expand and kind of develop your gift, exactly as we were talking yesterday. And you'll be able to do this, see effects of it, learn, and then maybe someday basically be called to play that role by your father and by the church itself. But you see, you'll have to understand the basics and embrace it and allow yourself to do that, to see that in action. So think about it and do something about it, because understanding this thing, fivefold ministry plus 2, you might understand now that you're one step away from entering the territory that will blow your mind and save and help so many people along the way. If you like this video, like, share and comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, just give me a shout and I'll be glad to do it for you. That being said, see you tomorrow.